This is the video on solving linear equations and word problems. Let's get started right away. All right, first notice our instructions. They say solve for x and then check your answer. So first, let's solve for x. Let's look at A here. Okay, we want to get x by itself in order to solve. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of this 8. Well, how do we do that? It's being added, so we do the inverse, which is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 8 both sides. So that gives me 4/5 x equals 12. All right, I know I still want to get this x by itself, but what do I do with that 4/5? All right, let me show you a quick trick with fractions. Anytime you have a fraction being multiplied by something, we can multiply it by its reciprocal. Reciprocal means flip the fraction upside down. So if I multiply both sides by 5/4, I'm going to get rid of this fraction. And let me show you how. You remember when we have the same number on the numerator as we do in the denominator, they cancel out. So 5's cancel with 5's, 4's cancel with 4's, that leaves me with just x on this side. All right, next, let's look over here. 12 times 5/4. Well, we can do 12 times 5 and then divide by 4. Or we can simplify this first because 4 goes into 12. So 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 12 3 times. Now, isn't it much easier to say 3 times 5 than 12 times 5 divided by 4? Yeah, so 3 times 5 is 15. We still have to account for this 1 underneath here. Don't forget that. But 15 over 1 is just 15. So my answer here is x equals 15. All right. Remember, our instructions didn't just say to solve, it says to check. So let's check this. I'm going to grab a different color ink so we can see what I'm doing. So to check it, you're going to plug it in. So I have 4/5 times 15 plus 8 equals 20. That's a 2. That doesn't look like a 2. Let's fix that. There we go. All right. Once again, we can do our simplifying here because 5 goes into 15. So 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 15 3 times. So 4 times 3 is 12 over 1 plus 8 equals 20. And 12 over 1 is just another way of saying 12. So 12 plus 8 is 20 equals 20. Hey, that one works. Okay. Next one. Let's take a look at B. And the reason we're doing B is because of this fraction. You notice that we first have to get rid of this 5/8. Well, it's being added. So we can't use our multiply by this reciprocal trick that we just did because it's being added. We have to subtract it. So 5/8 minus 5/8, that'll cancel out. We have to subtract 5/8 over here. But what is 8 minus 5/8? Yeah, good question. Do you remember how to do subtract fractions? First thing we got to do is we have to get a common denominator. That means we need to convert this number 8 into 8ths. So 8 wholes is how many 8ths? Well, 64 8ths. So if I have 64 8ths minus 5/8, I have 59 8ths. Yeah. All right. So I now have 3/5 x equals 59 8ths. All right. Now we can use our multiply by the reciprocal trick to get rid of this 3/5. Make sure you write it down properly by 5/3. All right. Those cancel out, leaving me with just x equals, well, I can't cancel 8 and 5 out. Does 3 go into 59? It goes into 5 once. It leaves me with 29. Yeah, no. It goes into 27, but not 29. All right. So this is a very good case for our handy dandy calculator. So we say 59 times 5 is 295. And 8 times 3 is 24. So 295 divided by 24 is a decimal, and that's not going to work. So we're going to leave it that way. So x equals 295/24. All right. I'm not going to check this one just because that's a big, ugly fraction, but you would check it the exact same way we just did the first one. You plug it in and you go. All right, let's look at D. 4x plus 2x, sorry, 4x over 7 plus 2x over 3 equals 13. Well, obviously I want to solve for x. And I've got x's on the same side here, but my fractions are, I can't add those, right? I don't have common denominators. So let's make common denominators so we can combine these guys together. What is the smallest number that both 7 and 3 go into? 21. All right, so how do we get this to 21? Well, I've got to multiply 7 by 3. And if I do it to the top, if I do it to the bottom, I got to do it to the top. All right, so that's going to give me 12x over 21. All right, and then I want to convert this one to 21sts. So how do I get 3 to 21? Well, I multiply by 7. And what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So this is going to be plus 14x over 21 equals 13. All right, now I can combine these together because I have like terms. So 12x over 21 plus 14x over 21, 12x plus 14x gives me 26x over 21 equals 13. All right, I need the x by itself, so I've got to get rid of this 26 over 21, so I can multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply this by 21 over 26, and this side by 21 over 26. All right, 21 cancels out, my 26 cancels out, leaves me with just x. Remember that we can simplify because 13 goes into 26. So 13 goes into itself one time, it goes into 26 twice. So I end up with x equals 21 over 2. I'm not going to check this one here, but again, we do it the same way. You would plug in 21 over 2, back up here, everywhere where you see an x. I recommend doing this on a scientific calculator. Judicial employment of parentheses will be your friend. So literally you're going to say, for parentheses 21 over 2, close parentheses. All of that over 7. All right. If you need help with that, come see me on a day when you're in class. I will be happy to help you figure out how to put it in your calculator. All right, let's look at a word problem. Set up and solve an equation for the following situations. The bill for repair of your bicycle was $180. The cost of parts was $105. The cost of labor was $25 per hour. How many hours did the repair take? All right, so let's look at things. Let's analyze some things. It says the bill for repair of your bicycle was $180. That is our total. All right, so working on our equation, we know that our total is going to equal 180. All right, the cost of parts was $105. That doesn't vary. Regardless of how many hours they spent repairing my bike, the cost of parts was $105. So we know we're going to start with 105, right? Whatever our hours is plus $105. All right, the cost of labor was $25 per hour. All right, how many hours did we work? We have no idea. That's in fact our entire question. So how do we make an equation when we don't know a value? We use a variable. So we need to name our variable. And since it's per hour, I'm going to call this H. All right. And we know that for however many hours we worked, whatever the value of H is, we're going to multiply that by 25 to get how much we paid in labor. So we're going to simply say that this is going to be 25H. So the number of hours they worked times $25 per hour plus $105 for parts gives us our total bill of 180. Do you see how it makes sense and how our equation fits the prompt? All right, now let's solve. So let's rewrite it over here so we've got room to work. 25H plus 105 equals 180. We want the H by itself, so we're going to subtract 105 from both sides. So 25H equals 180 minus 105, which is 75. And we're going to divide both sides then by 25. So we get H equals 3. So how many hours did the repair take? It took 3 hours. Make sure you are labeling your answer when it makes sense to do so. Do not just give me the solution as 3. 3 what? 3 hours? 3 orangutans? All right, label it. All right, let's look at the last one. In triangle ABC, the measure of angle A equals 2x plus 7. The measure of angle B equals 5x plus 12. And the measure of angle C equals 3x plus 1. Find the value of the measure of angle C. All right. For this, we have to go back to geometry a little bit. Yeah, I know, it's been since spring. You'll be all right. All right, what do you know about the measures of the angles in a triangle? If you remembered that they together add up to 180 degrees, that's what we're going to use, remember? So A, B, C, the measure of angle A plus measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C equals 180 degrees. All right, we're going to use that. So let's plug in our pieces. So we know that well, we're just going to write it on this line, right? No, we're going to do it over here because we're going to simplify. 2x plus 7, that's A, plus the measure of angle B, plus 5x plus 12, plus the measure of angle C, 3x plus 1 equals 180. Now I plug these in parentheses just for emphasis of the pieces, but you notice we have plus signs in between them. So we can just simply drop the parentheses or ignore them for our next step. All right. So first, let's combine like terms. So x, x, x. So 2x plus 5x is 7x, plus 3x gives me 10x. And then we're going to do our constants. 7 plus 12 is 19, plus 1 is 20. All right, so this is our equation that we're going to write up here. So 10x plus 20 equals 180. All right, and then let's solve. We want to find the value of the measure of angle C. Well, in order to do that, we're first going to have to find out what x is. All right, so let's solve for x. So first, I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. So it gives me 10x equals 160. And then I need x by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 10. So I get x equals 16. All right, but notice it did not ask me what x equals. It asked me to find the value of the measure of angle C. So we need to make sure that we're actually giving the answer that the question is asking for. So let's plug this in. We know that the measure of angle C equals 3x plus 1, right? Measure of angle C equals 3x plus 1. Well, if x is 16, this is going to be 3 times, this is a parentheses, 16 plus 1. All right, let's do some math. So measure of angle C equals 48 plus 1. And 48 plus 1 equals 50. So the solution here is 50 degrees. Remember to label. All right, that's it for the notes for today. As always, if you have questions, send me an email. I'll be happy to help. Good luck with your homework. Bye, guys.